going to bring that too.
Please let me know if you're getting hot or going to faint or anything.
Just stopped it.
Hello everybody, how are we? For those of you who don't know, my name's Mitch, and this is what I've made. It's my Possum Skin Cloak, traditional style. Now before I start, I would like to acknowledge the Wanneroo people as the traditional owners of the land and thank them for sharing the land with us. I'd also like to pay my respect to elders, past and present. And also, in the spirit of reconciliation, I'd like to pay my respects to everybody who came tonight. And I'd also like to thank my Auntie Marie, who has passed down the knowledge of our people and of also Aboriginal people that I needed to create what I've created. Possum Skin cloaks traditionally were used by Aboriginal people in ceremony, dance, as comfort and warmth, and also as to show like a special status in the tribe. And with Possum Skin cloaks, traditionally, as a baby would be given maybe 2 cloaks sewn together, or maybe 4, depending. And as they grew up, bits and pieces would be added, and maybe by the time they were teenagers, they'd have about 13 of them, and as they grow older and older, some are about the size of 50, 60 pieces. This one here is only a 35-piece cloak. And the cloak was completely hand-stitched, all blanket stitched, which I can thank Tracy for. Taught me my blanket stitch, and also Dad and Mum and Molly for helping me out with the blanket stitch. The cloak is painted, and the paint's made of a special mixture of wattle tree sap and ochre. All the ochre has been found locally just near my house in Duns Creek at a small stream. It was around Anjali's house, if you people know where she lives or who she is. What should I talk about? The wattle sap is melted down with water to make about a water consistency, kind of very smelly mixture, which I've got just around the corner if you guys want to come and have a look later. You mix it up with the ochre, and what happens is when you mix it, all the ochre actually sits on the bottom. And originally, when I did it, I got the paintbrush, and this one's Molly, she was the first one I did, and I just covered her hand in this muddy, thick, smelly substance, and she printed it on there. And it came out really thick, and I had to scrape a lot of ochre off. And what I found out later is that if I just dip the paintbrush in the water that's on top and think that it's stained, it will print much better like, this one here is probably the one that printed the best, just my cousin Indy, who's this high, this big, other guy who was dust when he went through a doorway. Yeah, just flicking off a bit. All the possum skins are from New Zealand. We ordered them from a company called basically Bush, and for all you people who are disgusted by all these dead possums, in New Zealand, in New Zealand, they are considered pests. They destroy the environment. There are no natural predators that can kill the possum. So yeah, they've gone absolutely out of control. And I'm just contributing my little part. I'm controlling the New Zealand possum. Okay, so with the design, the original idea was that I would do a river. And so I've done a river starting up here, which has got a couple of blank spots because there are still family members who I haven't managed to get handprints of yet. Some are in Queensland, some are God knows where, somewhere. I'll find them eventually. But it all starts in Mildura, which is where I was originally born, up this top corner, and it's the Murray River, even though we don't have the Murray River back home where it ends, back here. And the idea is that this here is a symbol for mother-daughter, and the mother and daughter who I had in mind was a girl called Karen Gadd, and I nicknamed her KK. And I had no idea why, just KK, Karen Gadd, doesn't really go together. But it was her and her son, and when she had her son, she came back and lived with us for a few years. And so we were really close, and when we were younger, I think I used to try and kiss her. She just like hated it. But yeah. Anyway, so it's story, a bit of story of a journey, like from the past to the present, and then what the future may hold. And down here I've got the school pond with the turtle in it, a couple of little tadpoles, and all this design here, it's traditional to our people, which is the
Bunurong.
Yeah, Bunurong. Very bad at pronouncing. The Bunurong people. And it's a ripple, kind of a ripple effect. And I got the idea from my Auntie Karen's cloak, and she had it all the way down her river, but instead of having the stripes, she would paint enticing red. And the first design I did, yes, the first design was the river, then I had the turtle, which was, it looks good now. It looked so good at the beginning. Really light. But I burnt it on, and then I think I had the lizard. The lizard's a hard one to spot, because he's kind of hiding in all the sand patterns. Yeah, he's kind of hiding in there, very difficult to spot. And then I went for the kangaroo. I think the eagle's a important sign. He's like the greater spirit kind of sign. And in every tribe, in the hundreds of tribes, the eagle was always a high totem, and it was always like a powerful being. That sort of stuff. So I knew I had to do the eagle, so I did him especially big and made sure that he stood out. And I did on the kangaroo pattern, I had like dust, and then it turned into the cloud, just to kind of give that idea of the mountains down here, he's flying, and the clouds are up here. All that, and I kind of thought, and I do the feathers like he's kind of like dropping part of himself to the earth, and it becomes trees and leaves and all that kind of stuff. And I had, the last thing I did was the last thing I did was Tracy and Jared's handprints. And I put Tracy and Jared on because they are such a huge part of my story. They are the teachers, the blanket stitchers, the artists who like inspired me and helped me. And I really think that if I were at any school, any other school, I would not be able to do this kind of artwork at all. And I have a couple of blank spots. I don't know what the idea is for this one, but what I'm thinking is my Auntie Marie, the one who taught me all of this, I've got to get her and Uncle Lenny, who lived with her, on there. And they're two very important people when it comes to my cloak, because the first one I did was in, where was it? Lake Macquarie, I think it was, the Lake Macquarie Gallery? Yes, Lake Macquarie Gallery. And we went down there and she got me to do a piece on there. And I think when I did my first piece, I did it was a snake, and he was crossing all these, kind of like these patterns here, these kind of crisscrossy land patterns, and I think the story was something like, I don't know, just the travelling through my life and experiencing this and experiencing that, and I was quite young at the time, and I really liked the idea, so I decided that I would do a rainbow serpent over a kind of the same pattern, but just a bit more complicated than the one that I did. And these patterns here were also on my Auntie Karen's cloak, and I'm not sure they represent, but for me, they're like kind of like little memories, little stepping stones in life, things that highlight in your memory, things that make up what is your entire life. And that's pretty much exactly what this cloak is for me. It's something that makes up my life. Like, I haven't got the handprint for this one, but this is my Auntie Lou. And originally, I remember she did this pattern, and she'd only ever done it once, and it was for a dragonfly. Or maybe she did a butterfly, I wasn't sure. But for me, it was a dragonfly, and I always remembered that was like, it suddenly in my head became, I think of her, I think of a dragonfly, and she's one of those kind of people who travel a lot. She, she's like a dragonfly. She gets along, goes here, goes there, experiences everything, and she's got one of those very dragonfly personalities. You don't know what I mean. And down the bottom, make it quick. Down the bottom I have Mum, and Mum is the owl. Now, I know what the owl means. I really find it hard to explain what the owl is. The owl is like, he's like the watcher. He like watches things, and he kind of warned you that you may be overlooking something because he sees everything. Like you may be overlooking a detail, and you should go back and think about like what you've been doing lately and all that kind of stuff. And Mum always used to say, "Oh look, there's the owl," and then look at me and give me this look. I go, "No, freak me out. Now I'm going to go back and think about it."
Gonna.
And also, Mum is like the owl. She knows everything. Knows. Yeah. And then we have Dad. Dad's the crow, and what happened was I asked him what he wanted. And he said a crow, and I felt a little ashamed because I can't believe I didn't think of the crow myself. I'd always noticed that he had this connection to crows, like he liked them, even though I hate them, personally. And Dad did this one here, this pattern, the Spirit Man, and what I think he was trying to do, I think if I'm right, he is got the man, and the man turns into the crow, kind of like that. It's like, yeah, the path between being just a man and then being something that can fly, and even though some people don't like them because they're scary, I guess, they are quite a beautiful creature as well. And then we've got mine's the snake, and I don't know why, even though the rest of the family are scared of snakes, or Mum's side of the family is fairly scared of snakes, I really, really love snakes. There's something about them, they're just like that kind of in-between animal. They're not quite a good animal, and they're not quite a bad animal. Some people hate them, but some people love them. It really depends on what kind of person you are. And also I have mollies. And, oh, mollies. The idea for mollies was originally a sea turtle, because she wanted me to do one of these turtles here, and then I was like, no, how about we do something a bit different? We do a sea turtle. She was like, yeah, sea turtle. And she just loved the idea of the sea turtle. And so what I decided to do is I did a beach, and I did the sea turtle's eggs with a couple of little turtles. And I got the idea from that from a art trail that I was at, and they had all these pictures of snakes and goannas and all this, and they had the little babies on the inside of the egg. And I thought that was wonderful, so I did that. And the concept kind of behind this was kind of like Molly's, in a way for me, a bit of a mother figure. Like, you know, she looks after me like she was my mum, and I look after her like an older brother who wants to protect her from everything. And I did the ripples for the fire where the beach shoreline is and all the waves and that kind of stuff. And another one of the other ones that's really important is we have my pop, and that's Mum's dad, my pop, Sid Clark. And for me, he was, as well as Dad, like a huge influence. He was like, I don't know, he was a pop figure. He was an elder figure for me, and like really the only person who was really absolutely 100% an elder figure, like a teacher, learner, even though he wasn't he was a very smart man, but academically he probably wasn't the smartest man. And we have him with his sheepdog, and his sheepdog is so old, 18, 19 years old, something like this, and her name's Bob, and we all call her Bobby. And for me, she's been around like since I was being born. I always remember her being there, and she's just so important to me. She's family, absolutely. And the idea was I had the spear because for the family, after his mother died a week before I was born, he became the family, kind of like the leader. People would come to him and ask him this, or tell him about this, and, you know, crack on about the other sister, or the other brother, or the other auntie to him. And he was just, yeah, for me, he's such a smart man. All I remember in my childhood is whenever I was at Mildura, he was the memory. He would tell me this, or telling me this in his own special way, which I can't really describe, but yeah, he was just such a like influential figure for me. And if you'd like to come talk to me, I'm happy to explain anything you want to know about. That's my Possum Skin Cloak.